What's up, guys? I'm Polly, and this is totally not a film commentary on the Blair Witch Project. So, today we're gonna be watching obviously, the Blair Witch Project. I could not get the runtime in minutes, but it's an hour and 29 minutes, so I'm not gonna do the math on that. Oh snap, it's not. It's an hour and 45 minutes. I was looking at that's the third one. It's from 1999, horror indie film. It's regarded as like a film that switched up the playing field for what cinema considers to be horror, and brought in like this documentary style in that I think was actually done better by Paranormal Activity, or even like VHS. I feel like they kind of take that idea and do it a lot better, but obviously they're not as old. I think also Cannibal Holocaust, that horrible film, I would not recommend watching it, but it definitely also, I think, handles this idea better. And ironically, that came out in 1980. Yeah, they had so many issues with Cannibal Holocaust. That movie will scar you for life. But yeah, so today we're watching the first Blair Witch Project. Well, I didn't know. I knew about when they like rebooted it or whatever, which turns out they didn't. Blair Witch Project that came out in, when did it come out? 2016. That Blair Witch is actually the third installment, and it's like a revisit after 20 years. I watched the gameplay for the game that came with it, and it seemed like it was completely trash. What I didn't know was that a year after Blair Witch Project came out in 2000, a sequel was released. I had no idea. Granted, after the first few times I saw Blair Witch Project, I was just like, this is a great way to make a bunch of money off of suspense and not put half of the time into actually filming it. But there was a sequel. It was called Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. So, in order from the first one to the third one, it goes Blair Witch Project, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, and then Blair Witch. And so, I'm actually going to be covering all three, but today we're just going to be watching the Blair Witch Project. The first one from 1990, 145 minutes. What do they call it? A horror thriller. Hold on. I guess they're all horror thrillers, yeah. Directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Okay, I guess there's nothing really else to do except for, oh my gosh, their budget was 3,000 USD. Went on to make $248.6 million. See what I mean? I'm watching it on Hulu. This is still pretty early in the film commentaries. I have no, like, on-screen way of tracking it. I should probably silence my phone. That was my reminder to do that. But yeah. So, every now and again, all I'm gonna do is be like, oh, we are at... I'll tell you how much is remaining. And you do the math on where you should probably be about at if you're trying to sync it up. Exactly. Because I'm not going to do the math. That's a lot of math, and it's not quick. It's not something I can technically do. So, all in all, let's start this. I'm going to do a countdown, make sure it's on 0, 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go. And unlike the last few film commentaries, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take notes this time, so this is gonna be fun. This will be fun. I forgot to get more water. Damn it. I like these title cards. I keep forgetting it is an old film. A year later. So the events. The game kind of makes sense now. Not gonna lie. But the game is just trash. I watched someone explain the whole game. Dang, not Nissan. Last time I watched this, I just remember it being very dull. Wow, that camera. So his camera is in black and white. This really does give me VHS vibes. The grunge playing. Wow, the old Power Bars label. She does not sound like she is that good of a newscaster. I could really understand, like, the appeal of this. Oh, snap! Utz chips! Those are delicious chips. This is actually really interesting. Mhm. I get this is the framing. I can only assume that this is supposed to be very informational at the beginning. I I will say something I can appreciate now that I didn't when I was younger watching this is the actual cinematography. It's pretty good. I at least for this part. This lady looks like the Blair Witch. I thought that I thought that lady was gonna make more sense. I might watch an explanation after watching this. This is a movie I have seen. I saw it forever ago. A bag of oats. Cake. Okay, so they're going into the forest. Scotch is supposed to be pretty okay. I'm not a Scotch person. Straight up looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Patton Oswalt and Jeffrey Dahmer. Mm. The black and white shots are actually pretty nice. I have to retract a few statements I made about Blair Witch. I used to think it was really dull and boring because of the amount of suspense it had to build. But we'll see how long that lasts. I wonder how the sequel ties into this. Huh? Oh, I thought she was faking reading. indecipherable writing with eerie precision. So they were precise scribbles. We're at an hour and 50 seconds. Yes, problems are starting to arise. Layers of space. This makes me want to have to do the Paranormal Activity series too. That was an interesting transition. It was very subtle. But same camera, and then it switched to black and white. This is Home Chick's camera again. Yeah, they need to listen to that dude. Granted, apparently that's one of the things, like, they're supposed to get lost. My theory is it's the actual woods. I would not. I wouldn't trust her. Oh snap! This is overlaid. That was an overlaid video on top of the audio of the previous scene. Huh? Said everyone. I don't even remember. How's she counting each pile of rocks? That's an that reference would not catch in 2021. That black and white camera works way better at night. Oh, I bet this is where the real troubles begin. Oh my gosh. Honestly, she just scared me right there. I was not expecting her to come out of that side. We're at 55 even. He's turning into the base camp guy. Yet they haven't seen anyone out there in the woods with them. They're so upset to be on this trip with her right now. Cause it's not. Yeah. I'm a mic on this one. No kidding. And first of all, why did they even leave their car on the side of the road? I feel like at some point she just becomes like a liar. She's an unreliable, what do they call that? Narrator? The struggle. Sounds like the rocks. I feel like I could honestly remake this movie scene for scene with like a quarter of the budget that they even had. All you need is like a forest area and some rocks. Oh yeah, that was totally a deer. Is this where they lose a dude? And she has time to make passive aggressive comments. I don't know why none of them. That's wild. Oh my gosh. They are wasting time. And he's probably gonna lose his job. Oh my gosh. It's a bit of a descent into madness, isn't it? Wow. I know it's not cool, dude. Facts. True, she has. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mike seems real satisfied. Seems like they've been doing the opposite, like, for most of the time. That's not necessarily true. How long have they been stuck out there? Oh my gosh. What? And then he walks on. Oh my gosh. Why does she sound like Dee from Sunny in Philadelphia? That's wild. Why would he think that in any reality that would be a good idea? So when is he gonna fuck them up? I'm eating Smarties, I'm sorry. I do remember how annoying this chick is. And she's still even surpassing that. What does food and shit entail? Oh, I thought he said food and shit. He said voodoo shit. Some of these shots are good. I'm not gonna say all of them. I'm actually really surprised that I haven't seen them do that whole scene overlapping thing with the audio again. Oh my gosh, they be yelling at her so much. I mean, I'm not a fan of anyone in this group. Oh my gosh, she's just barely saying that. We're at 36:20. And that is time that is left. Do they hear sound again? Why would they turn the light on? Why would that sound like a good idea? Is this where they lose homeboy? Oh, it's... What did they see? Mike's gone. That sounded like ghost children. Do they even know how to get back at this point? More outbursts. He's probably gonna start. Slime. Random slime. They're crossing back over, or they're crossing over another stream. It's VR. I should have kept track of how many days they were stuck out there. Was it like ectoplasm? from Little Ghost Children. Little did they know, in 2021. They just reached another level into a descent into madness. It seems like they've been crossing back and forth over the same river. Is he down in there? It is. That's totally the same log. Yep. Mike should have never thrown the map into the water. Of all the mistakes, she may have been making mistakes, but that made everything so much worse. I forgot the chick's name. But now I know the other dude's name is Mike. I mean, Josh and Mike. How is his filming is shaky now? You can quite literally hear an airplane overhead. Just saying. Who took one? Josh knocked over the rocks. Did Home Chick take one of the trinkets? What did Mike do? He's the one with the camera. There's no one here to help you. Except for Josh and Mike. Mike's right. As always. sometimes. Throwing the map was not right. Was not a good thing to do. There's no one here to help you. I will watch an explanation of this. I feel like I've seen a few. I don't know. They leave this. The first one is left so open-ended. That's why I can't wait to watch the second one, because I had no idea there was a second one. You're not gonna get any mashed potatoes, Josh. Oh my gosh. So this is when he disappears. She's right. She must be out of her mind. We're at 21:30. I can't remember if they find Josh's body. Glinda was a good witch. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, Josh is gone. How is their sanity? I may have spoke too soon. Are they hearing things? Is it Josh? Or is it just the cat? Dude, I wouldn't trust Josh. In these woods, you can't let someone out of your sight. Can't trust him, though. Did she find them? Oh, that missed. Or is that his breath? This commentary has left me with more questions than answers. Two better be such a good follow-up. Two better be great. Yeah, Josh is this is I was about to say this is what it feels like to quit smoking, but vice versa. Cuz now they are smoking. Yeah, it has his sweater on it. No kidding. He wasn't yelling like that for his health. Oh, she's still going. Where's Mike? Seems like now it's like getting to her. She may have been in the best mental state given their circumstances, but that broke her. Oh, now you want to go home. Y'all better have both of those cameras still. I think they do. We're at 12:30. That was the last sync. I'm not gonna say syncs for the rest of the movie. There's a lot of unnecessary yelling in this film, but I feel like there's also a lot of oh my gosh, there's a lot of necessary yelling in this film also. If I ate a leaf, it wouldn't be like a dry one. It would be a green one. Oh gosh, we're at the famous scene. Prepare for snot bubbles. When you're doing your own camera work and doing a YouTube apology, so you decide to zoom in on the tears. I think that's the film cover too. Yeah, film cover. I thought I said album cover. All of that sounds very accurate. She is not wrong. This should never be a camera angle for any film ever. But they're open. Gosh, she needs a Kleenex. I like when Scary Movie makes fun of that scene, though. It's not a house, it's the house. Oh, you ain't going through the front door. Okay. So Mike is holding the black and white camera. She's holding the color camera. Oh, that's Josh. I straight up thought that was someone yelling outside my front door. I think there's some writing on the wall he missed. That is a post-production sound if I've ever heard it. How are they just ignoring, quite literally, the writing on the wall? Those were the indecisive scribbles. Wait, how did he end up with the color? Who's holding the camera? There's Mike. And that was the dude that was killing the kids. The ghost. Or probably Josh, who's probably possessed. And that is it. That is the first Blair Witch. These are the credits. I guess some things to say. Some things to ask. 'Cause that, I don't know. I think the older I get, and if I keep watching it just at different times in my life, I'm gonna keep continuing to think just different things about it. The beginning reminded me of Alan Wake, which was it. I didn't play it, but the gameplay and the story just seemed like it was whack. I like the cinematography though. For the interview portions after that, it quite literally just goes downhill. But I have a theory about that because I think, considering when this film came out and how people were when they watched movies, you have to go from like pretty nice cinematography, and I think it's supposed to just kind of like parallel their descent into like insanity essentially. So like you're going from really, really nice camera work and everything down to shaky cameras that are getting thrown all over the place essentially. But it's like the same with them. They go from cool, calm, collected, just joking to dead. So, I mean, so there's that. What else did I put on here? I think obviously the used method of foreshadow in this film is anytime you have someone that is telling their account in the woods, someone else is saying, well, that didn't happen. So I think there's also, this is why I think the most important part of this is actually the interviews in the beginning, is because I think they give you some red herring tales, and then they give you like the actual true myths essentially, which I think the kids is one, obviously because of the house, but I think the Blair Witch one is the other. So I think whatever caused that dude to do that to the kids, it is like the Blair Witch. But I think it really is the whole woods. But I think essentially what happened was they got haunted, not just by what that dude got haunted by, but also by the victims of that dude themselves. But also, I think it should be said that there was a point in this film when I realized that just like that type of foreshadowing they do when they try to disprove or like would it be unsuspending your disbelief, or just like some type of disbelief and inoculation for it, because every time they would tell you something basically saying there's no way this could happen, it happens. But also I think there's a really cool mechanism that I think gets overshadowed that this film uses, is a callback, but not saying what the callback is to. Like, they were asking each other questions that weren't being answered, like, oh, do you remember what blah 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 meant, or do you remember blah 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 this, you know? But they weren't answering. They only answered on one occasion, and that was with the lady that had told them that one story. But they didn't really like say word for word what she had said. And I think that either causes you to A, pay attention, or B, have to rewind back to those parts if you're really trying to understand this film. It's not an easy film to understand the gist of what's going on. And like I said, I think that's partially because they want to keep it up in the air, which I think is what the idea of like bringing like a merging of like two different myths together or whatever, I think that is part of it, definitely, because it does keep you guessing. Yeah, and no one that is watching this is going to believe that it's one singular thing, you know? So it's brilliant. I'm not saying it's a good movie though, but there are some I see why now, why it still gets a spot in the pantheon. I did write on here, I wonder how the sequel ties into this, cuz obviously everyone's dead. I don't, and the sequel was released the year after. It's interesting. I can't wait to see that. Once again, the chick is an unreliable narrator, but also I think that goes to say the cameras themselves or anyone that is behind a camera is an unreliable narrator because we don't know what happens for the few times that the camera is off. You know, that's why Mike had to say, even though they had been wandering in the woods for already, like, what, two days, that he kicked the map away, which is, like, such a Mike move. But, I think, in a way, the camera itself is the unreliable narrator because if the camera turns off, or even if it's not in a correct direction, you really don't know what's going on. So you're not seeing the full complete story. And so between the basically telling you something's just a myth even though you know that this is a horror movie and it's probably gonna happen, and all the other things I was seeing in there, I think that's really what makes it such a, like, believable experience, you know? But I think that idea of just watching them go crazy in the woods, I think that's why as a kid, like, I would get so bored with it, but now, I mean, this is relatively a short film, and so it seemed pretty alright this time around. I wonder if that's an hour and 45 minutes. How on earth am I filming for an hour and 29 right now? That's weird. I'll have to check that out. I hope nothing happened. But yeah, do I have anything else? Descent Madness, chick really annoying. Mike should have never thrown the map away. Yes. That... Never, ever, ever do something like that. Like, oh gosh. And then admit it. If anything, you just let them keep thinking that she lost the map. I know it's messed up, but it would have saved Mike's butt. But I think they were too far gone by that time anyway. Yeah. I feel like it is, in a way, it's left open-ended. And a big question is, I want to know, like, in the Blair Witch universe, who edited the footage? You know? Who did the editing? Why would they leave so many scenes of just staring off in the pitch blackness, you know? When you have a scene that has two overlapping, like, video clips where the talking for one is going on, but you're seeing the video image of another. Like, why? Is that just an oversight or what? Is that all $300,000 get you? But yeah, I mentioned the recall thing. Oh yeah, I feel like you always want to go back and watch the interviews, because that's really the most important part of this. That part, and when they start messing around with stuff in the forest. And I think that a general idea of this film is the viewer themselves and the team of people that are going into the forest have to both kind of figure out what was real and what was just like folklore, you know? And so, but what happens is obviously the group, they don't figure it out. Also, I feel like another film I need to add to, like, the type of vibes that this gives off, As Above, So Below, too. I'm starting to get Blair Witch vibes in there also. Except the special effects are insane, and As Above, So Below. I love that film. But yeah, I said seems like a little bit of a battle of the myths. But yeah, because it does go back and forth. Like, sometimes you hear screaming outside of their tent. Sometimes you hear little kids. Like, it just kept you guessing. My theory is, anytime you saw the stones and stuff, that was the Blair Witch. Obviously, it's been disproved that, the those little, like, stick figure things were for protection. Not disproved. It has been said. I have to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Usually I mute myself, but that would have been... I have to sneeze again. Dang it! Well, there are two. Two sneezes. Okay. I forgot what I was saying, because a sneeze will do that. But yeah, the stick figure things were protection, probably made by the kids, because it seemed like, except for that bundle of sticks that had the eyeball and I think the tongue or whatever it was in it. But yeah, so when they knocked over the rocks, that's when they probably angered the Blair Witch. The kids were probably just fucking with them, honestly. I have to sneeze. Give me one moment. I'm actually gonna mute this one. If I can find my actual mute. I'm sorry, these are gonna be a lot of loud, annoying noises. It's annoying because I'm not gonna edit it out. To an extent, I don't care. But yeah. So, in reality, I guess a good question to ask is, were the ghost children trying to help? Or in a way, were they, like, marking that, like, they were going to become just like them? Because Home Chick and Mike end up dying the same way the children do. And then we honestly don't know what happens to Josh. We have to assume he's dead, though. I think it's safe to assume. But it seems like he's become a product of the Blair Witch herself. My third theory is that Josh is the one that kills them both. Especially because he was the one that was tormented by the children. Personally, like, they're the ones that pulled out his stuff and everything. Or at least that happened on, like, the same night. But who knows? I cannot wait to watch the second one now. Especially since I now know of its existence, so that's gonna be good. But yeah, this was totally not a film commentary on the Blair Witch Project. And you totally did not just sit through that whole entire thing, did you? If you did, that's cool, that's dope. Thank you for hanging out with me, chilling with me, listening to my commentary. Obviously, they're available here on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch, where I stream, and I do things on Twitter from time to time, so it's always cool. I always be just dropping nonsense. Been on hiatus lately, but by the time this comes out, most likely all of that will change. So check out those links, and I'll see you guys in whatever I decide to do next. Peace, guys.